Welcome, everybody, to the Sonoma Spiel 2023 version. It's our first podcast of the new year, and I'm so excited. I know, it's so exciting. It's so great. It's like, this is a brand new year, brand new resolutions. Everything's fantastic.
The first one.
It still has that new year smell.
It does, right? It does.
That new year smell. I've got some news. I know I say this, but today I have a very special guest.
Where?
Today I have a very special guest. I have Andrew Smith, who his title is very long, and if you know, you're with Sangiacomo Wines.
I'm with Sangiacomo Wines.
You're with Sonoma Arts Live.
I'm with Sonoma Arts Live.
And then I Googled you.
Oh no!
And I found out.
I told him to delete those pages. I hope
no, it's funny. Andrew Smith Sonoma also shows up that evidently you're the director of agriculture for Sonoma.
Oh, spare time. Yeah,
Congratulations.
I dabble. Yeah.
And so there's another guy named Andrew Smith.
Really?
Yeah,
that's remarkable.
He's the director of agriculture and measures and weights. Okay. And I didn't know that was his thing.
Okay.
But congratulations if that's you or not.
Hey, if I could use it on a bank loan or something, maybe we'll see.
You got a pension now, dude. So congratulations.
Yay. Fantastic.
But Andrew, welcome. It's good to see you.
Thanks. Welcome and good to see you too.
Like I said, this is our first podcast of 2023.
That's pretty cool.
And I know you've probably woke up and done 8 hours of Pilates.
Of course.
Did a 10K run.
Yep.
And ate nothing but high fiber vegetables.
Yes, absolutely.
So how are the resolutions coming?
How are the resolutions? You know what? It's funny you should ask. I actually have been kind of refocusing on some new resolutions. This last couple weeks. Obviously, we're only a week into this.
Right.
And you talked about New Year's smell. You know what that smell is right now? That New Year's smell is petrichor.
Petrichor.
Right?
Oh, I got a wine guy. For those of us that are not wine people, what is petrichor?
Petrichor is, it's a couple of different definitions I've seen, whether it's the first of rain after a long drought or if it's the rain on concrete. For me, basically that smell that you get when you have rain or fresh water coming out of the sky and welcoming into the world. It's that smell of petrichor, which you can find into... It's
a very California smell, I think.
Very California smell.
Because often other places...
get rain.
It's like, if you go away from here, they actually get rain.
I know.
You're absolutely right.
Well, being a New York guy, drought was never really a big issue for us.
So you answered the question. You're from New York.
I'm from New York originally.
Wait,
yes.
Where from New York are you from?
I've lived all over New York, but I'm originally from Long Island, New York.
Come on, can you say it like a Long Islander?
Yeah, I'm from Long Island, New York. You know me. Come on. Let me get my dog. You guys want coffee? Let's get coffee.
Why don't you talk like that on a normal day?
Because I want to sound like a normal person.
No, you sound like a normal New Yorker.
A normal New Yorker. You know what? I have been willed out of my accent. I've traveled the world a lot, and I've lived. Yeah, it's just not on purpose, but I think being someone who's performing on stage and talking with the public, I kind of have to tone that down. If I just went back from my buddy's 40th,
right?
If I'm back in New York, having a couple of glasses of wine, laughing about some dumb stuff, it comes out. So,
because I've read that. Actually, San Francisco bagels are better than New York bagels.
Well, now I have to leave. I'm sorry. I will see you.
No, this is true. This is what I read. There was a whole thing in the paper about.
Did a San Francisco person write it? I'm sure they did.
Well, I think what they were was a New Yorker that transplanted here. Or maybe it was like a typical San Franciscan that went to New York for a day and a half.
Probably that. Yeah. If you went to Dunkin' Donuts, it's a little different.
Is it coffee regular?
Coffee regular. Yeah. You get a coffee black. Yeah.
Okay, so you're from New York. You're from Long Island.
New York. Yeah.
And you came to Sonoma. Why are you here? What brought you?
Yeah, wine brought me here.
Oh,
really.
For real?
Yeah, my wife is from Half Moon Bay, Monterey area.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice spot. Yeah. And we met in grad school in San Diego.
Oh, really?
Years back.
Wait, go Aztecs or
go Aztecs?
Okay, good.
SDSU, yeah. Okay. And then we were getting our master's in musical theater performance. We went back to New York, where I'm from. Lived there for a bit while we were performing and working.
Wait, you guys were both in grad school studying theater?
Mm-hmm. It was a grad school that took 8 applications every 2 years, and we happened to be of 2 of the 8.
That's a very small class.
Very small class, yeah. 2-year program for an MFA.
So you never put on Ben-Hur Cast of Thousands?
No.
You put on 8 angry people.
Yes,
8 angry men.
8 angry men on repeat. No,
exactly.
we worked a lot with the undergraduate students as well, but we were the master program of musical theater while they also had a department that was for theater as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we didn't just have the 8 of us, but thankfully. But yeah, that's where we first started our trek together, where we met.
Okay.
And then I came back to New York, where we were performing, and we spent quite a bit of time when we weren't. We got an opportunity to work on and headline cruise ships, which took us around the world and back again.
You guys were cruise ship performers.
Yeah, there's the connotation sometimes when I was really into it, doing, striving for the Broadway stuff, working for art is the highest thing, and I want to work on my art. Who gives a what? Because I also like money.
So you were like one of those characters in Rent that didn't know that they were a character in Rent. Like,
sure.
You were like, it's about the art.
Yeah. Not really, because I was kind of a realist about it. I knew it is a job, right? If you're lucky, it's a job. And I had the opportunity first to be one of the headliners on a Norwegian cruise ship without my now wife. And I went on it. It's 6 months of the year. You're
talking Norwegian cruise lines. You weren't speaking Norwegian.
No, not yet. But I have been to Norway. I have been to Norway, yes.
Okay.
So I took that contract, came back after 6 months, and said pretty quickly, I want to keep doing this, and I really hope you can do it with me. So let me talk to my contacts. We both got to do it together, which was amazing because that's how we kind of saw the world. And if I'm honest, it got me into wine because we'd be docking in Bordeaux, and we'd be in Spain and in Portugal and in New Zealand and in Australia. And I saw what the wine culture was to those people and those cultures, and I hadn't seen that as a young Irish Catholic in New York.
Well, no, Long Island's got vineyards.
Yes, they
I'm not saying...
they do.
This is like every time I talk to someone from Ohio or Michigan or another wine-producing region, Virginia, and I say, well, you got vineyards. And they always say, yes, we do.
They grow, So they do. And I can talk about that because I think they're doing a great job out there on Long Island. They've really refocused on what grows well, which is smart, because at first they started with hospitality, which was great.
Right.
But I hadn't seen what wine culture was. I left, Long Island and went to college at 17, and I wasn't really drinking age, so I was back, and then I started performing and traveling. So I hadn't seen what that culture was. I wasn't into wine. Of course, I drink some beer and whiskey and all that stuff. But the wine culture was amazing to me because it brought people together. And even now, when you come, if I host a tasting for you and you're sitting there, I mean, the only reason I meet some people is because the liquid in that glass. Right. So for 90 minutes, life becomes secondary, and the libation becomes primary, and we talk about life due to what's in the glass and not reverse, right?
Oh, I like that. Life becomes secondary, the libation primary.
Yeah,
the libation brings the life.
Exactly. Okay. And if you're friendly enough and you go sit at a bar, you might talk to some people who are next to you, but you all have something different in front of you, and that's not the focus. Right. But wine makes you talk about life, at least when you're with me.
Right. Okay, I like that.
And I did too. And I thought when I went wine tasting, as an adult, when I was, in between gigs or stuff, I didn't think people were having enough fun with it. Right. I thought the host should have a lot more fun.
Right. You are really good at being, obviously, your theater background helps.
Yeah, theater background.
But like good presence, good eye contact. You're not a cork dork.
I typical winemaker.
But the typical, and that's why I never get winemakers on the show. But it's like sometimes they'll go too deeply into wine talk.
I totally agree.
Without having the ability to do people conversation and stuff like that.
I pride myself on making anything, but certainly wine approachable, because you sell a heck of a lot more wine when people actually care about it or feel like they're worthy of it. Right. Instead of getting over their head, it kind of it makes people upset, or in what I mean.
How do you see the skills from theater, exposition, body language, your presence? Yes. How does that translate to working with somebody in a winery? Yeah,
it's storytelling, right? So if you can, we're lucky out here. Everyone makes good wine. Everyone has a beautiful view. The Sangiacomos are no different. Right. With the Sangiacomos, in this case, for me, I have a wonderful story to share. Right. So if you're able to share a story, that's what makes people fall in love. Right. And in any relationship, in any capacity as a human, the other person wants to feel heard and appreciated and known. So if you share a story instead of tell a story and bring parts of what they find in themselves into that, now you've got a customer for life. Okay.
So speaking of Sangiacomo, what is Sangiacomo Family Vineyards? Where is it?
Sure. It's actually not too far from here, about 2 minutes or so. We're down on Broadway, and crazy enough that I've known the Sangiacomos for about 4 years and have started working with them about 18 months or so.
It's a family,
Steve, Mike, Mia, Sangiacomo. I'm sorry, Mia Pucci, but the original kids. Been there 95 years in the same house on the same property where I'm pouring wine. Oh, yeah. The founder's 94-year-old daughter lives in the house that he built 95 years ago. Oh. Down the road is her 92-year-old brother and 90-year-old brother. So when we say family, we are not BSing. Right. When I hire staff, family. I'm like, it's legit, and we're one of sorry to say, there's only a couple of us left that are true, caring about family first, community first families.
Right, been here a long time.
Been here a long time. Farmers first for 95 years farming, 53, 54, depending on being 2023 years growing grapes. Started the hospitality program in 2016, making their own wine, but you pick grapes in 2016, you don't pour that wine that year. So we started pouring on the property in 2020. And I don't know if you followed anything that happened in 2020. Apparently, something happened. But we opened in the
Was there a new Netflix movie?
I'm sure there was. I probably watched probably 1,400 hours of Netflix movies.
I got to the end of Netflix.
It was all the X there.
So they opened in 2020. Just, I think it's about a mile and a half south of the plaza, the historic plaza.
Yes.
And it's this beautiful open patio.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
There's vineyards right there. I've actually done a video with Steve in the vineyards, which was really fun. What's the experience when someone comes there? Do they just like show up and they sit at the bar and you guys pour them wine real quick, or how does that work?
We actually changed the verbiage to say tour and tasting, because every tasting you do, for the most part, every tasting you do comes with a tour of at least the family history.
Okay.
We greet you in the front, we're telling you the family story, because you can see the house that built this whole entire thing.
Right.
Walk you through our gorgeous building into the back terrace that somehow we have 1,600 acres on that property, 110.
Okay.
And somehow we hide it from the parking lot, and you get to the back and take it all in.
It goes way back there,
because we are Sonoma.
The patio or the terrace, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
It's right on the vines.
It's right on the vines.
I mean, you should give some people some Velcros and get out there and go pruning.
So last time we had someone mess up one of our vines. But
did you really?
We jokingly so, but we do some pruning classes. We do some harvesting classes. Yeah, and we're building more of this. Remember, hospitality is it's only 2 years in. I've only been there 18 months. I'm developing with our staff more and more things to do like this. I mean, we're using a fraction of the 1,600 acres we have, and for the longest time before me, there was one person there. I came down, and there was 2 people, then there's 3. Now we're slowly building a little bit of a hospitality team that can really take us to the next level. So for being 100 years old, we're the baby on the block. It's kind of fun. We're a 100-year-old baby. It's like Benjamin Button going backwards, I guess.
Nice reference there. Like, that's the theater thing.
Yeah.
Well, let me take away. Did you stop doing theater once you got into wine? And did you put that past behind you? Because now, now you're a man and you put behind childish things. Is that where you're at, or what's going on?
It's where I was. Okay, so we had been working the cruise ship circuit for a long time, and there were so many wonderful experiences. But when you're out on the ocean 6 months of the year, you miss a lot of birthdays, weddings, funerals, stuff. Right. So as I was mentioning before, we had this global community and a complete lack of anything minimalistic community, which I was sorely missing. So we finished one of our contracts. We were about to get on a ship and do around the world in 180 days, and it was never going to stop.
For real?
Yeah.
Was that Crystal or was that NCL?
Oceana. We were going to do 180 days around. It was going to be our last gig, and 2 weeks before we're about to board, the engine room exploded, and
was that going to affect the cruise?
It postponed it, but we kind of took it as a sign as well. Good. Like, you know what? We had just gotten married. We're like, let's just take a second.
Right. Okay.
And as oftentimes what happens when you take a second and you're newly married, we found that there was a baby coming along, and that changed quite a bit. We wanted to, it was fantastic for us. That was about almost 7 years ago. Well, it was 7.5 because my daughter is going to be 7.
Okay.
And that kind of changed everything. Right. I could have kept performing. I had opportunities to go out and send money home or be on contract. It's just not the type of dad I wanted to be.
It's kind of a hard living.
It is.
Life.
It's a hard living for family life, and I really wanted to not do that. As much as I miss it, and as much as it's glorious to be doing that, I didn't want to. Well, first of all, my wife would never let me just be like, yeah, sure, send money.
I've got kids, and I'm in.
I remember she was living in because we were living together in Queens in New York, and I had my first contract for 6 months, and I would buy, because this is in 2009-10, so it's a while ago, and you had to buy an internet card to call in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on through a little laptop, and I'd be like, how you doing, honey? How was your day? She's like, well, I did the laundry and I stepped in a puddle and a car almost hit me. She's like, how was your day? I was like, I was jet skiing and there were dolphins and I ate this beautiful gyro in Greece, and I quickly realized it's not.
I gotta shut up.
Yeah, it was fine day, honey. Yeah.
So you were doing Honeymoon for One.
Yeah, Honeymoon for One.
And
then
she
I
was
came
doing
back, yes.
Life in Brooklyn.
And that's why when I came back, I said, you got to do this with me. So did I stop? Yeah, when we both stopped. My wife got into, by the way, you might know, if you're out there, my wife is Maeve Smith. She runs Corsi Graves. She's also in Sonoma Arts Live as an actress as well. You might know her in the community, so I might as well say her name, Maeve.
You might as well.
I might as well. Maeve. But we both said, you know what, let's just see what this is like to just be parents and reinvent ourselves, because we've done that a couple times. So she started managing a fitness studio that then had an opening in Newport Beach, California. She said, would you want to move out to California? And I was just in between gigs and bartending somewhere. I'm like, yeah, let's go to California. So that got us to the West Coast.
So you threw everything in the back of the old Camry or whatever?
We literally did.
Honda Civic.
It was a CRV. Honda CRV. Yep.
And you're like, let's go find America.
Yep. New puppy, pregnant wife, and everything we owned.
Yes.
Back of a car.
Well done.
It's the best, man. I've done a cross-country trip, I think, 7 times in my life.
Yeah, I drove across when my wife was pregnant, vomiting, and I had a cat that I don't like in a container. Yeah. And I was in a moving van, and like we hit this like storm in Iowa. Yeah. And it was like we were going 15 miles an hour because the wind was so strong and whatever. And like, wow, this is great.
I know.
Just like the Pioneers.
Exactly. Got hysteria on Oregon Trail.
Cat crapping and my wife barfing. It's great times.
It's wonderful. You're just like, this is the best.
So you guys landed here in Sonoma.
We landed in Sonoma. So we were in Newport Beach. And then I got, my first wine job was in Lodi.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy. Stuck in Lodi again, yeah. I was there for a couple months before someone who was running a winery out here in Sonoma had stopped through and was tasting with me, and she was leaving her position, said, hey, would you want to come to Sonoma and work?
Okay.
And I said, let me go visit it, and I drove up this beautiful road and saw your office and the palm tree, and I fell in love. I was like, this is gorgeous.
The historically,
up this exact road where we are right now.
Historically significant palm tree.
Yes, exactly.
Which currently has lights on it for the holidays.
I know.
It's about, I don't know, it's like 80 feet tall. It's in front of City Hall.
It's right in front of City Hall.
Which is a historic building. It has the same on all 4 sides. It's a beautiful, kind of looks like a castle.
It's wonderful.
And the visitor center's in a Carnegie Library building right next to it, which is gorgeous.
And where I currently work, I take that same drive I took 5 years ago when I felt, because I live up in the Springs. So down from Sangiacomo, I drive right up Broadway into that view that made me fall in love all those years ago. And once I saw Sonoma, that's when I fell in love with it.
And like, this is the place.
Moved here for that job, and then 18 months ago came over to Sangiacomo.
Okay, but here's the deal. Like you're doing wine, but then you mentioned Sonoma Arts Live.
You're right.
What is that? What does that mean?
Well, it's a wonderful little
what a great question.
Here, right? What a segue. You should do this professionally or volunteer. Maybe whatever. So Sonoma Arts Live is this wonderful semi-professional theater company here in Sonoma that I got introduced to about 2 years ago. When we got out of performing, we were pretty sure we had retired.
We're done.
You
retired as champion.
Go out on your top. Yeah. We were like, you know what? This is okay. I don't miss it enough to invest the time that I know is needed to do it.
Wait a minute. But what about the roar of the grease paint and the smell of cloud? Did you miss it? Come on, you wanted to be part of it.
You're absolutely right. Luckily enough, being front facing in wine, I was performing every day.
You were.
So I didn't always get a standing ovation necessarily. Sometimes if I had a really good. Look at the way he opened that bottle.
Chardonnay. That was
great. Chardonnay. Yeah. But I was feeling satiated with making people happy.
Your creative outlet
was a little bit
was kind of met. Okay.
There was some satiation there.
Okay.
Now, 2 or 3 years ago,
but the addiction made you less reactive to the dopamine. So did you go back to theater, or what was it?
Yeah, well, I started seeing some of the local theater because we had and then once you see someone do it, you're like,
I could do Willy Loman.
Exactly. Hopefully a couple years away from that, but and then that's we said, well, let's try to get into this again, and we worked up at Spreckles. We did a show down there. And then once COVID hit, that kind of took everything off for a bit.
Oh, that was 2020?
Oh, is that what it was?
COVID.
Could not put my finger on it. My goodness.
So you guys went to Sonoma Arts Live, which, if I can think, is a local theater troupe or group that performs predominantly at the Sonoma Community Center.
Yeah, almost exclusively in Andrews Hall, but then we do some things outside of that property. But it's been since 2015 we've been in that building as the Sonoma Arts Live.
And how big of a company is it? Like how many actors are there?
Well, we don't have resident actors, actually.
Okay,
We have a lot of people who work fairly often with us. We're working on a residency type of thing, with especially with backstage stuff. That's kind of the hardest to find sometimes.
Right.
Stage management, lighting, directing, all that stuff. So we're building on that. There's certainly a core group who work primarily there.
Okay.
But my wife and I have slowly injected ourselves into that group, hopefully lovingly, I think lovingly.
Right.
Offering what we can bring in our expertise to a smaller community like this, and help cultivate where the growth is going to be for this company.
What kind of performances do they do? Like, do they do full-on plays? Do they do reviews?
That's a fantastic question. They do a lot of full plays, also plenty of musicals. Depending on how you define review, like I'm actually directing this year a what could be known as a book review, but it's a licensed show, and I'm working on doing some
a book review. Wait, a book review as in like a second grader does a book review, or
the
like
Cat in the Hat was wonderful.
Here's my diorama.
Green eggs and ham.
Exactly.
No,
what does that mean?
A musical review that has a bit of a book to it, so like lines or a story to it. Sometimes musical review will be one number to one number to one number to one number. In my case, side by side by Sondheim that I'm directing, there's a narrator who kind of goes through and tells you about Stephen Sondheim's life as you're listening to the songs.
Wait. This is a musical about Sondheim, who wrote musicals.
Yes, a musical within a musical within a musical, I guess. Yes. God. I know.
You should just call it Musical Inception or something like that, or whatever. It was like.
Well, there is a wonderful musical called The Musical of Musicals, The Musical, which is fantastic.
For real?
Yeah, it's a parody of all the greats who've written music before them with the original stuff. You got to check it out. Anyone out there, if you're into musicals, The Musical. Yeah. Fantastic.
So you're working on like a Sondheim story.
Yeah, there's been many reviews written of Sondheim's stuff because he's pretty prolific. Just passed away. I guess, is that almost 2 years ago? I can't remember when it was.
I don't know. I think it was around 2020.
It was around there, or it was just last year. Oh, we're in 2023 now. It was 2021.
Was it 21? Okay.
Yes, but we wanted. It was kind of timely to pay homage to his life in the best way we could. I wanted to make my Bay Area directing debut with this show, which is going to be really cool. Yes.
When's that coming out?
We open April 21st and play through May 7th, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll be in rehearsal starting in March for that, which is great. But before that, we have our other show, Sidekick, that's going to be open. Actually,
let's get into here's our things to do. This is our podcast. We talk about things to do. So
I love it.
Sidekicked. I'm going to read what I have, and then you're going to correct me.
We'll see. Let's see.
So Sidekicked is going to be from Sonoma Arts Live. I believe it'll be at the Sonoma Community Center.
Yes, in Andrews Hall.
Yes. Starts February 3rd and will run through the 19th, not every day, but like on weekends probably.
Yep, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the opening weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the other two weekends after that.
And basically what I've got is the details. After years of playing Ethel Mertz, the housecoat-wearing sidekick to America's favorite sitcom star on I Love Lucy, Vivian Vance has a lot she needs to get off her chest. In her dressing room on the night of the show's final filming, she issues an SOS to her longtime analyst. Help me understand who I really am before I'm stuck being Ethel forever. In this comedy, Vivian relives it all. Not relieves it all.
No, that's a different type of show.
That's right.
We don't want to have Ethel relieve it all.
Relieve it all. From the good to the bad to Lucy. Audience members will enjoy this peek behind the scenes as well as shots from the I Love Lucy episodes as well. Wait, are they going to have
well, probably. I haven't talked to Michael, who's directing this, but we have a beautiful projection screen there, and we like to utilize it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a show that this obviously probably wasn't written solely for Sonoma Arts Live?
No.
So you licensed this one?
This is a licensed one, yes.
And then is this have you seen this performed before?
I've never seen this performed. I'm very excited.
Great.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also starring one of my favorite people in performance, especially in this area, Libby Oberman. So she just did a masterclass. She's a fantastic actress. She used to run the theater school here and has focused more on her performance level. And this is a great chance for us to get her on there, just kind of showing what she does.
Okay. If people want to buy tickets for this, what's the website for?
Sonoma Arts Live, I believe it's SonomaArtsLive.com, where you can go and get into tickets.
I think it's maybe .org, but .com might be both. I don't know.
You know what? It could be both. I know it's .org as well.
Is it? Okay, I just want to make sure. But so people can buy tickets to that, and then it's a great little theater.
It's over 100 years old, Andrews Hall.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a beautiful little
people
theater.
Don't know this is in the community center, which is in the old school, which was, if you saw the movie Scream,
yes.
It was the high school. But it's a classic. It looks like an American high school.
Yes, and we kill a lot less people now than we did in Scream. They frowned upon it. I found out when you start slashing your audience members.
It was the principal. No, it wasn't the principal. It was. I can't. Oh, I know who it was. It was the boyfriends.
Yeah. Oh, great. You ruined it for me.
Did I?
No. I haven't watched it in 20 years.
The movie's 20 years old,
exactly.
I guess. That's like, by the way, it's a sled. I can tell you at the end.
Oh,
crap. Now you know.
I do know.
Here's one that's happening. Valentine's Day is coming up.
It is.
And Valentine's Day is a good time to, talk about love and romance and stuff like that. Safari West, and I'll have them on another time to talk about this, but they have the Valentine's Day Wild Jungle Love Tour.
I love it.
Yes, and it's basically about the mating habits of the earthbound animals. It's a Valentine's Day package. They go out. They have actual biologists talking about, birds do it, bees do it, even educated fleas do it.
Yes.
Right. And it's really funny. It is adults only for the tour from 2 to 5 p.m. And I think this is really funny. I'm going to try to have Aphrodite, that's her real name, Aphrodite Caserta. She does the marketing for Safari West talking about it. But it's funny.
Name.
You learn the intimate details about the mating habits of African mammals and birds, including bongo, giraffe, eland, wildebeest, gazelle, zebra, warthog, cheetah, and more.
Wow.
Which is, they don't stay married very long because they're cheetahs.
I hear it happens pretty fast.
Tag, you're out. Wow. When a male warthog wants to attract a female, he does a courtship chant of rhythmic grunts that sounds like an engine in need of a tune-up.
It sounds like me, actually. We'll have to get Maeve on the show, see if that's true there.
She's like, oh, here comes the warthog. Love is in the air. So we're gonna learn more about this one, but that is on our calendar of events at sonomavalley.com.
That is so cool.
It's kind of fun. It is this quiet period. Everyone's doing their resolutions and their hiking, but it is kind of nice that there are events that are happening.
There are events, and I think that's something people forget about. Listen, we are definitely wine country, but there is so much to do that is not completely wine-centric, which is fantastic.
Correct. You can,
a little community like this.
You don't have to enjoy wine to come to Sonoma Valley. You don't have to be in Sonoma Valley and solely enjoy wine.
Exactly.
You will find a lot more to do if you do drink wine.
Fair enough.
And you can come visit Sangiacomo Vineyards.
Of course. Right? And there's also a place for, think of Train Town, Safari West.
Right.
Your kids can have a good time too while the adults get a little bit of...
You have 2 kids? 3 kids?
I have 2 kids. Did someone tell you something I don't know about? No. I have 2 that we agree upon. I have 2 little girls.
Okay, great. So you know, like there's stuff like there's the park in the middle of the plaza. There's a great playground.
That's fantastic.
There's
2 of them.
There's 2 of them there.
Kid and the big
That's
kid,
true.
yeah.
That's there. Depot Park has good playgrounds, but there's a lot of stuff to do, just like out hiking and doing kid stuff. So
absolutely.
Here's another event. This is actually in January 19th, and this is, we have the Mission in Sonoma. So you didn't grow up here, but in 4th grade, and your kid's not in 4th grade yet.
No.
In 4th grade, you have to make a Mission model. Okay.
Okay.
And
sounds like I'll be making a mission.
Yeah, you will. I mean, your
kid.
kid's supposed to make it.
Yeah.
Because they study California history in 4th grade. We had a dog named Felicia. Lovely dog.
Of course.
And my sister made a model of San Juan Bautista or something. And back in the 80s, we used sugar cubes. Okay.
Oh, God.
Yes. So
Felicia. This sounds like that.
So my sister made this big Mission out of sugar cubes and then put it in the garage, and it got attacked by ants. Right. So then back in the 80s, you could just buy like industrial grade pesticides, right?
Kill the world.
So we sprayed it, the San Juan Bautista, we fogged it with like Raid. And then you know what happened here is the dog goes and like, now it's even more delicious. And the dog eats half the Mission, like this sort of like Godzilla.
I was going to say.
Dog didn't die. Dog was fine.
Dogs were different back then. I tell you, the world of dogs were
because
different.
they drank Tang and Velveeta. They were fine.
I think I had a dog that ate a nail once, but my dog now stubs his toe and he's out for a week.
And the vet charges you like $3,000.
Oh yeah, to tell you, take him home, nothing we can do.
Back in my day, they would just chop off the dog's leg and you kept moving.
Yeah.
So anyway, at our mission, the Mission San Francisco Solano is the official name of the mission. They do have a bunch of historians that come and give talks.
That's awesome.
And so we have a historian. He's going to be talking about Native Californians and the collapse of the Bay Area missions.
Wow.
The Bay Area was like the end of the mission trail, and Sonoma was actually the final mission built, 21st mission built in California. It's the only mission built during the Mexican Empire time. So we have the Spanish Empire, Mexican independence, the Mexican Empire, and his only mission. But kind of what people are looking more about the impact on the native Californians that were here, because, it wasn't a pleasant experience for people that were here with having a European power come, and there were definitely awful effects that happened.
Yeah.
So this man's going to be talking about Lee Panich. It's called Native Californians and the Collapse of the Bay Area Missions. He's an associate professor of anthropology at Santa Clara University. Go Broncos. He uses a combination of archaeological and historical methods to examine how Native Californians coped with the imposition of colonial institutions, particularly the Spanish mission system. In collaboration with local tribes, he's conducted archaeological investigations at several sites throughout the Bay Area.
Wow.
We have an archaeological site here at the mission. And they've done archaeological missions there. If you go take the tour, you can see where they've done stuff. There's an old graveyard there. You can see where the original Native American villages were. So this is kind of neat. It's January 19th. If you like history, that's a thing to go to.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
When your kids get older, they'll make a sugar cube.
Yes, and I'll make sure my dog stays away from the raid.
Now they cheat. Now you go to like Michael's craft store and they have like kits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, come on.
Oh, come on.
Kids these days.
Gosh.
You like hiking?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Do you know yoga? Have you heard of yoga?
I've done it once before. I was actually on ice in New York, and I slipped, and I got into a namaste, I think. Now I namaste for a glass of wine more often than yoga. Yeah, my wife was very into yoga. I tried desperately to get into it, but...
Wasn't your thing?
I'm just not very flexible.
No?
Just not very flexible.
It's weird because you're wearing those Lululemon yoga pants today.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
So this is a yoga hike. It's called Park RX, Sugarloaf State Park. They do hikes. Says, enjoy your yoga experience in the beautiful setting of our park. Susan Topp's yoga hike balances a mix of easy hiking and gentle yoga postures, breath work, and guided meditation. No mat necessary.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, you don't need to bring a mat. That's kind of neat. So this is up there at Sugarloaf. Cool. It's $30. And, yoga is a thing that I'm also seeing at wineries.
Yeah.
Buena Vista, I think, is doing it.
I've talked about doing it in the past, too.
Have you?
Because it's a really nice... especially if you're in an early morning, there's fewer, more beautiful settings than a winery or vineyard in the morning.
That's true.
And if you do a nice yoga thing, it was called Namaste for a glass, and then you do the thing, and then you come and get a glass of
because you're a marketer at heart. That's what I can tell.
I am a marketer at heart.
That's what I love. You've got it. All right, we got another thing here called We Get Questions.
Yay!
So are you ready to answer some of my questions? I got to find out where my questions went.
I do. And I also wanted to give a quick shout out for for Sonoma Arts Live on Valentine's Day as well. We're doing a one night only fundraiser with the cast of Ain't Misbehaving coming back, and we're calling it Come Misbehave with Us.
I love that.
So it comes with dessert, some champagne. I think it's like $75 a ticket.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful night that you're going to help a really cool community foundation really.
And that's on Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's Day,
which is I think on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. Yes. So
it's still February 14th this year, right?
Yes. Last I checked, I know.
That's always the question.
Always the question. But yeah, check that out, and then let's see these questions.
We'll get to this. We get questions. As you know, or you may not know, we operate 2 visitor centers, one at the Plaza, and one at the Piazza, the southern location there. And we also get questions via text. We get questions via Instagram, Facebook, email.
Okay.
Some people phone us.
Wow,
I've got a letter in the mail asking me a question.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It came from like Pa and Little House on the Prairie or something like that. It was like really cool. But okay, so you're going to help me answer some questions, okay? Okay, here's a question that we had recently. You ready?
Fantastic.
You're working the visitor center. You're a volunteer.
Excellent.
Where should we get married?
Where should you get married?
Yeah, they walk in and they say, where should we get married?
Okay. Where should you get married? Well, we're lucky here in Sonoma. There are some options to have some beautiful weddings in vineyards, on properties. One place I just love, where I actually did a lobby pour there last night, was the Lodge. They do a fantastic job.
Lodge of Sonoma. Yeah.
And I know the staff there really well. If I had to get married anywhere, and I used to be a wedding coordinator, I used to run events.
For real?
Absolutely. I used to help all those people who think brides are the craziest thing and so hard to deal with. They're not. They only want to just feel happy that moment.
Okay.
I love what the Lodge does, and then there's also a couple options. Vianza being one of them. I think.
You get married at a winery. Yeah, absolutely. Does Sangiacomo do weddings? Receptions?
We don't. They built a beautiful garden in their Caterina vineyards behind the trees that are kind of in the middle of the vineyard. They've had personal family weddings, and they donate to do stuff there. But we're not really a big event.
Not set up for it.
Well, we could, but it's also on our residential properties.
What if the entire wedding party signed up to do some farm work, in the vineyards.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the wine club, because now we're talking. If you get an entire party to the wine club,
you actually have to be better, because you don't want a bunch of people trying to.
If I get 300 members join the wine club for a wedding, you talk to me. I'll figure.
We're ready.
We'll call it anything.
We're ready to do it. Okay.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. So I like that.
A couple options. Beyonce being a great wedding and lodge. Right. I love that.
It was funny. The people came to us with a pamphlet, and they said, we want to get married here. And the pamphlet was actually at the county of Sonoma, and the way they took the photo, it looked like this beautiful park, right? There was like a bench and a tree. It was a very tightly cropped photo. And I said, that is the courtyard outside of the county administration building. It's across from the jail and the motor pool. Like, you do not want to get married there. I mean, the coffee shop has mediocre coffee. It's great. But I'm like, here's some other options.
If you want some convicts to say their vows for you or whatever.
It's great. Some other places we recommend include like the Sonoma Garden Park has a great place to get married there.
That's a beautiful spot. Okay.
There are some other, of course, wineries that you can choose to do weddings there. But if you don't want to do it at a winery, you can always look at Kenwood has a beautiful park. It's a regional park right there.
I did see that. That's cool.
Kenwood Community Church is right there.
That's right. That's right. So, now, how about Sugarloaf or Jack London? Do they do anything like that?
I am not exactly sure. Sugarloaf and Jack London are both state parks.
Yes.
They definitely do have events, because Transcendence is there.
Exactly what I was thinking.
But I'm not exactly. I bet you actually there's an amphitheater at Sugarloaf, I know, by the campground. So maybe up there.
I wonder
what size the wedding is. If it's like 3 people, you just go up there and get it done up there.
Exactly.
Just who's going to know?
No one's going to know.
So it's there. Okay, here's another question. Ready?
My answer would be, it doesn't matter, because as long as the two of you love each other, that's all that matters.
So it's the marriage, not the wedding, that matters.
It's the union, and you're coming in front of people who love you, and you're agreeing that you're going to love each other forever. So it's so little about the actual act, and we spend tens of thousands of dollars on this, where it all just means love.
This
it's just a
heartwarming moment brought to you by Andrew Smith, noted wine guy and actor.
Yeah, the witty wino.
Well done. Here's a question we got. We are 6 people, 2 from Los Angeles and 4 from Argentina. Where should we go to lunch?
Ooh, gosh.
Where should we go to
I
lunch?
struggle with the lunch question all the time. I have some personal favorites, right? Yep. Where should we go to lunch? Depending on what you want. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Hop Monk. Sometimes it has a great varied menu. You can get wine, spirits, or local beer.
Right.
It's kind of, I know it's kind of like a chain. There's a couple of things. So I do like to reward, Swiss Hotel, Sonoma Grill, some really local stuff.
Right.
But Hop Monk is pretty hard to beat sometimes. And Murphy's is another good.
Murphy's
another,
great.
Another
it's funny. Murphy's, it's an Irish. They say Irish pub. It's really a restaurant.
Yeah. Gastro pub. How that whole movement of, yes, we're a bar, but we focus on fantastic food. I love what Dermot's done with the menu there.
Authentic Irishman there too.
Authentic Irishman, which is always matters.
That's a good one, and I think it's hard to find a bad meal in Sonoma.
That's so true.
That's the advantage.
Hacienda is another personal favorite.
That's a good one. Yeah,
up across from El Molino.
And you mentioned Sonoma Grill.
Yeah.
Sonoma Grill, lots of locals love that spot, and they know it. Visitors know it, but it's a little off the beaten path.
It's just off, right?
Food is fantastic.
Food's fantastic. It's also a local account for us for the Sangiacomo.
Oh, is it?
But I've been going there for years because I just love the vibe, and the owners there are very kind.
And he was a mountaineer.
Yes.
He was a chef on Mount Everest.
Isn't that crazy?
It's like, okay. Here we go.
Yeah, I heard the food was great, but the atmosphere wasn't very good. Oh, I'm here all week. No, I'm just here for those 2 minutes.
Thank you, folks.
Yes.
Here's a good one for you then. Where can we see waterfalls?
I think this time of year, Sugarloaf has some waterfalls on the trails there.
That's correct. You're right.
Also, Jack London Saloon has that little creek behind it, and I think there's a little drainage ditch that has a beautiful little waterfall.
No, you're absolutely right. We call it a scenic culvert. I call it a drainage ditch. Yeah. So that's where the Sonoma Creek comes down. You're up at Sugarloaf State Park is where the waterfall comes off Sonoma Mountain or one of the mountain, whatever, maybe it's Sugarloaf Mountain, I guess. It comes down. It's really cool. So most of the waterfalls in Northern California are seasonal.
Yeah, because of our lack of consistent rainfall.
Because of our Mediterranean climate.
Oh, that's a much better way to say
Do you
drought.
Like that?
Yes, I love that.
So I would go there. There's also some other places in Sonoma County. If you go to the coast, I think north of Jenner, there's a waterfall. And it kind of goes right into the ocean where all the water eventually goes.
Yeah. I actually had this question myself. I was thinking I wanted to go take my daughters to go see a waterfall somewhere local. Yeah. So
well, Sugarloaf is probably the most accessible for you.
It is.
It's an easy hike. You can go up to the parking area area, and if you're mobility impaired, it's not a long walk down. I do have to caution that if you want to get really close to the waterfall, you should have sturdy shoes.
Yes.
Because the pathway is kind of muddy.
I know.
But you can look back, and it's just beautiful.
Cool. That's really good to know, Ted.
So
See?
it's ask us.
That's why I came
We know
here.
stuff.
Yeah.
Final question.
Okay.
I'm here for some wine tasting. Where should I go wine tasting?
Oh my God! If I could think of.
What's a good winery? I'm near the plaza. Where do I want to go?
Yeah, like perhaps it was here for 95 years, and I just
where would I go?
In all seriousness, you can't go wrong. There's a lot of fantastic plazas. I'd love to host anyone coming down to Sangiacomo Wines, but I have buddies all through this industry, and we're all doing our best and need some help and with having guests. So anyone you go to, we're going to thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
And most of the wineries,
and of course, Sangiacomo.
Right now during the off season, getting a reservation.
Fantastic time to come.
Is not as dire as it was, like in harvest season. So you could show up many places and just ask, is there tasting availability?
Absolutely. Even for us,
there is.
We're appointment only, but guess what? If you show up and go, I have an appointment in 1 minute.
Right, here we are.
Let me set this table.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to explain to people, especially like January, February, March, April, even into early May, midweek. It's pretty easy to find appointments.
It is.
It's always good to plan ahead.
Yeah,
but
at
it's
least
also
call
good.
ahead. We just want to be able to provide the best hospitality we can, and oftentimes it's not as easy if you just show up at our door. So just a simple phone call 5 minutes before allows us to get set.
Put on a clean shirt.
Exactly. Yes.
Take off the yoga pants and put on the khakis.
keep on the yoga pants. How do you think I get tips, Tim? Come on.
Always a showman.
Always a showman. Yes.
Well, Andrew, you've been wonderful.
Thanks, bud.
You're a great guest. I'm so glad you were here.
Me too. It's been too long. We should have done this a long time ago.
Well, you keep hiding from me. What if people want more information about Sangiacomo Family Vineyards or Family Wines? How do they find that again?
Yeah, SangiacomoWines.com will talk about the hospitality program that I'm helping run. Sangiacomo Vineyards is a website as well that talks about basically the farming that we've done. For
how to
so
grow
many years.
grapes and stuff.
So we like to send you to SangiacomoWines.com to get to us.
Am I going to put you on the spot if I ask you to slowly spell San Giacomo?
No, I can spell it. It's on my shirt somewhere here. Yeah, Sangiacomo.
Thank you.
Wines, Wines.
Okay, Sangiacomo.
People
wines.
say Sangiacomo because they think of Sangiovese. It's another pronunciation. We just are the Sangiacomo family.
Right, Sangiacomo family. Okay. Yeah. So, and then if they want to learn more about Sonoma Arts Live, how do they find that out again?
Yeah, SonomaArtsLive.org. I'm almost positive it's .org. And a simple Google. So I don't know if you've heard this. There's a thing called Google.
The Google.
And if I always use SG. I don't know what, but still.
Big fan of Alta Vista. Or I go on my Prodigy.net and I get in on
my dial-up service. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, if you could look up SonomaArtsLive.org, and there's a bunch of information there. You can dive in as deep as you'd like on the shows. I'd love for you to come see all of our shows this year, particularly a couple here. That's going well. So please jump in, find some more information.
And then and people can try out for your plays too, right? I mean,
absolutely.
If they're theatrically inclined.
If you're theatrically inclined, and if you're not, I mean, let us tell you you're not, right? The cool thing about a semi-professional community theater is you don't have to be. It sounds dumb to say, don't have to be a pro, but this gives you a chance to live your dreams. Yeah. Right? So we can always use volunteers. We always can use actors. Please don't hesitate to
So I can try out to be a tree or a rock like I was given in fourth grade.
The day I met you, I'm like, this guy would be a great rock.
That guy's straight up igneous. That guy's done.
Man, metamorphic guy over here. This is amazing. That rocks. I love it. Yeah.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Of course. Thank you, Tim.
And I just want to remind everybody that's listening, hi, Mom and Dad. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want more information about Sonoma Valley, go to sonomavalley.com. And more importantly, come visit us because we'd love to see you.
We love it.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.